So we started, I want to start with this, so like with the whole church membership thing. This is John, chapter 10, verses 11 through 14. I am the good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. So whenever like with the whole membership thing at a church, like when people wonder about why wouldn't someone want to be a member of my church, well, that's usually the reason. They're not being, well, I mean, if someone thinks you're a hireling, like you're in it for the money and you're not in it for, well, God, then it's like, why would they want to be a part of your club when your club isn't about God? And yeah, so I mean, I like, you go to a church, right? Or I mean, occasionally, or it's like every Sunday, something like that.
Louisville Baptist and Chapel on the Sound.
All right, are you a member of the church?
No, I don't believe so. No.
All right, and so I mean, do they have a membership thing? Like, do they encourage that? How does that work?
Well, Woodville Baptist, I would be closer to. I mean, I would be considered church family there. You know.
All right.
With my grandma being a member.
Okay, so you do have someone who is a member, so it's like I mean, would that she is or like does her membership represent the family, or how does that work?
I'd say so, yeah.
All right, because I mean it's like so like with the because Fountain of Life, I want so like they have a covenant, and they in the covenant it says that I like essentially saying I certify that I have been baptized in water by immersion, and I haven't. So when they wanted me to go up and like announce becoming a partner when I haven't been submerged yet, well, I mean the covenant says that I've been submerged. So if I haven't been submerged and then I go up there, well, that's a fraud because I'm not fulfilling what the covenant says. The covenantal statement, and it's like whenever the word covenant comes up to me, that means there is well, it's a covenant. Any covenant should be a covenant before God, and if it's a covenant before God, that means you fulfill everything. Like there's no, oh, we'll do that later. It's if it says that, you do it. You do it the right way. That way you're actually fulfilling the covenant, and because if you're not fulfilling everything, then that means the covenant is worthless because it's not on the, it doesn't matter because if it mattered, you would be fulfilling everything that it says. Yeah, that and there's another one. Anything you want to say on that?
Oh no, I'm liking what you're saying.
Okay, and then this is 1 Peter chapter 5 verses 1 through 3. The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, which is like that's profits, money, lucre, and I'm finding out where it was, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being examples to the flock. So, like with the examples saying, anybody who is a leader in a church should be following. I am a good shepherd. They should be like Jesus in that they are a good shepherd. I mean, people can make mistakes. That's not the issue, but they should be a perfect shepherd in the way, because you can make mistakes and be perfect, but perfect in the way that you are actually fulfilling being what is good instead of evil. Like if you have somebody who's being resentful toward people, that's not a good shepherd. But if you have somebody who, like, they accidentally like they said something, and like sometimes you'll say something and you're actually thinking something else, but you say something, and then after you say it, you realize, wait, that's not what I meant. That's not being imperfect. That's just like something didn't work right. But it's like because people get confused about perfection, thinking it's about if somebody trips, that doesn't make them imperfect. But if somebody is actively going out of their way to cause messes, that's because it's the intention of the heart.
Right.
And if somebody's intention of the heart is good, then their actions will follow that. But if the intention of their heart is bad or evil, then it's not going to. Well, you'll know it by their fruit that they're an evil tree and not a good tree. And then if they're an evil tree, it's not going to work. And something I've been noticing lately, that I've been practicing, so if you're ever dealing with like a cough or something, something like that's coming against your body. Well, what I've noticed, so we have dominion over our bodies. Like I have my dominion over my body, you have dominion over your body, and our dominion comes from our tongue, because death and life are in the power of our tongues over. Like we can other things too, because we have dominion over the earth. But my point being, if I, like you speak to your body, because your body is like you're the spirit in your body, and then this is just like, well, this is a piece of meat with a spirit in it, that sort of thing. So so like you hear that, and then when I say body, you are well, or that sort of like I'm talking to my body, and because I recognize the body isn't me, but it's something I'm controlling, because I'm the spirit controlling this body. Like you understand that, like whenever you well, like there's different examples, but like how if somebody has their hand cut off, they can still feel it, even though and it's like, oh, they have a ghost limb, that sort of thing, because they're actually the spirit in the body instead of the body itself, and that's like the body's reaction to something may be totally different than your reaction. That's like your body can be afraid of something without you actually being afraid of it. You can, like, maybe you're feeling fear, but you're not afraid. If you get what I mean, something like that. It's like and that's like maybe you would be at peace in one way, but in another way you're like you would be nervous. Like maybe your body would feel nervous, but you of yourself, like, why am I feeling this way? I'm not nervous. That sort of thing. That's like someone sees and I mean that comes with the whole thing about like with weight gain and stuff like that. It's like your body does what you say. Your body acts in accordance with you. If you eat more, your body makes room for you to eat more. If you eat less, your body prepares itself for, like, in the same way. It's like what you do is showing the dominion you have over your body. I'm gonna stop recording and start recording that whole thing. All right, so that's back. Anything you want to say?
No, not right now.
All right, but yeah, it's like having like with the whole dominion thing, and then like with the good shepherd thing about with church membership, how it if the people in the church are examples of Christ instead of examples of the devil, then, well, I mean that's a good indication of, if you're going to be a member with the church, then you you have good leadership. Because if you don't have good leadership, why would you become a member? That whole thing. It's like it's not a waste of time. That's like if you're gonna, and there's the thing about ministering, like right now we're talking and I'm ministering to you and you're ministering to me, and you can minister good things and you can minister evil things. That's like if somebody's ministering to you something is if someone's like someone's angry, then they're ministering to you anger. But if someone's happy, then they're ministering to you happiness, joy, that sort of thing. And like and this is especially with this one, if someone's sad, they're ministering to you sadness, because you can feel it. Because even though we're in control of our, we're in control of ourselves, but we know that other people have a certain impact on us. And we can control the extent of that impact, but it's there. That's like whenever somebody's sad or if somebody's angry, we can feel it. And even if somebody's happy, like joyful, we can feel that too. And it can totally change how but maybe not totally, but it can influence how we think and what we do when we're around. Because I mean, that's like, you pick who you're around, and if you pick somebody who is always angry, well, they're ministering anger to you. And if you pick someone who's always sad, or not always, but most of the time, that like the regular routine, and the same with if they're sad, then it brings sadness to you, and if they're happy, it brings happiness to you. And sometimes it's not the right time to be happy, and sometimes it's not the right time to be sad, that sort of thing, or angry. But yeah. So what what's your with your church? What's your experience with church membership? Is it like it's I mean, what would you say about your church leaders? Are they good shepherds? Do they minister good things?
Yeah, I mean they're good people, yeah, but good shepherds. I don't know. I don't know if they really.
All right.
I don't know if they have the ability or capacity to reach it, to reach over and it's a close knit kind of
all right
family group, and I do think they're all good people, and not just good people, but people that truly believe in the word,
yeah.
Believe, but I don't know if they're natural shepherds. No.
All right, because I mean that's the thing about it. It's not about like downing anybody, but it is about just understanding the dynamics of, like, if someone's going to be a member at a church, they've got to know who their leadership is, and if it's like you may know somebody's a good person, but that doesn't mean you trust them. And when you're going to have someone like being a leader over you, and you're going to have some sort of submission to them, then they have to be a good shepherd. Otherwise, why would you be under somebody you don't trust? But if you trust them, of course you'll be under them because you trust them. Anything you want to say about that?
If you don't mind me asking, what do you think of the leadership of your church?
I think they have I mean because it's not like if I know that they are they're putting the effort forward. Whether or not they're good shepherds, though, that, because I mean, if they were good shepherds, that would have been like with the whole covenant thing. Like when they want me to go up there and like act like I've become a partner when I haven't even handed them back the paperwork, or like that sort of thing. It doesn't reflect good on them, because they're not they're it's like it's more of a show. Well, yeah, that's what it is. There's a lot of showmanship.
Yeah.
And it, as much as it's more about the appearance than the heart, or it's more about the appearance than the actual it's like, someone says they did something, but it didn't even happen.
Right.
That sort of thing. And it's like with me, if I had gone up there, well, I hadn't actually become a partner because I hadn't handed there was a thing like where you sign everything, and like you put this and that, and I had never handed that back to them, and yet they were ready for me to walk up there and just do the induction for a partner. And well, the process wasn't complete, so it was more, so it came across like it was more of or I mean, it was more about it doesn't, that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is that we're going to we're gonna put on a show. And even if not all the pieces are there for, even if not everything's filled out for the show, we're still gonna do the show. And that's like with so like they do baptisms there, and they had canceled the baptisms for that Sunday because they had people coming in. I maybe wanted to get more shirts, that sort of thing. Like it's not a lack of good reasons, but it is it shows that they do care about the show. Like they care about putting on a show, and putting on a show isn't a bad thing. But when you're so focused on putting on the show instead of, I mean, that's like if somebody goes and baptizes somebody out by like in the river, and it's just them and the person that's baptizing them. Well, that's not a show. It's just between two people, and it's like a wedding. So if you have two people, like it was two people, they bring maybe two witnesses, and then the clergyman, or what you would call them, to to be married. They didn't put on a show. They were just made married. Now they're a married couple. But when you do a wedding, well, that's a show. I mean it's a show for the purpose of we're committed to each other, and then like with that, it's like for me to get up there, well, I mean, yeah, that shows that part of the commitment, but what about that paperwork that I hadn't given you yet, and what about I haven't been baptized yet? What about that stuff? Why does that stuff not matter now? Or why is it like, oh, we can just handle that later? Why am I getting up there when when the process isn't complete?
Right.
But I can get it from the other angle of, like, it could be, well, we already consider you family, but well, I mean, we already consider you family, sure, but it's still, there's stuff that hasn't been addressed yet. So why is that stuff not being addressed? Why is it, oh, you're going to come up here when the other stuff hasn't been addressed? Like there's pieces to the puzzle isn't complete yet. So why is this happening when it's well, why is the show more important than the details to get to the show? That's like if you have I'm gonna stop the recording and start it again. Okay, so I started again. That's like when like when you watch a TV, because I know you're into TV shows, so it's like um the execution of things. If you like that's like you have a what they have to do the proper execution. If they don't do the proper execution, it's like, well, that doesn't mean anything. But if they do the proper execution, then yeah, that it's impacting. It matters. And that's like if I went out and just like went out to a river and had somebody baptize me, just me and them, nobody else, then like them being my witness that I was baptized, that would have more meaning than if it was in front of a group. Although in front of the group it would be maybe a better testimony because there would be more witnesses. It wouldn't be as meaningful if, like, like if you're gonna do, if you have a set date that I'm gonna do this, and then, well, no, such and such can't show up, such and like that sort of thing, and all these things, it becomes more about the show instead of the actual baptism. And that's like with the baptism at the church. I understand that it's about getting as much done as possible, but for it to be about getting stuff done, it's about the show. It's not about the actual I mean, it's like, if they were just no camera, no shirt gifts, that sort of thing, and they just just went and baptized you, well, that would be more toward, it was about you should be baptized. It would be less about we have to show it to everybody that you've been baptized. It's like there has to be a spectacle instead of it just being, okay, you're baptized, cool. I mean, it's like you know, there's this thing about doing something to the glory of God and doing something to the glory of man, and when you make it about having when you make it about wanting people to be there to see it, then there's the question of, is this about the glory of God or is this about the glory of man? Who's being glorified right now? Is it to the glory of this church, or is it to the, like, because like when Jesus I thought about it, was Jesus it doesn't say anywhere that I know of, or in the Bible anyways, it doesn't say anywhere that his mother was there when he was baptized. I mean, there was a group, but you know, he just had his cousin baptize him, and his mother wasn't, or like, he didn't like, he won't have his mother there to watch the baptism. It was just, it wasn't about putting on a show. It was about, okay, I've got to get this done I've got to get this out of the way. We do this, and then the next step, that sort of thing. It wasn't, it was more about that the baptism mattered than that showing that the baptism mattered. And that's like how he would address the Pharisees, how the Pharisees would make it to where whenever they would be saying something, or if they were fasting or something like that, they'd want everybody to know about it. They'd want it announced to the high point of the mountain to the low point of the river. They'd want everybody to know about it, and then it becomes shallow. And that's like I don't think it's a lack, like with Fountain of Life. I don't think it's a lack of heart, but the level of institutionalism makes it to where there's some level of shallowness in that. Like with the thing about me going up there and doing that. Like, I get, okay, you accept me as being a part of your flock, but I haven't accepted you as my shepherds yet. And that hadn't been recognized yet until I had said that I don't want to, well, that your covenant isn't right with me. And yeah, because that, like with saying about with what the word says about the hireling and the shepherd. Well, I'm not looking for hirelings to people who are looking for prophets to lead me. If I'm going to have somebody lead me, it's going to be because they're a shepherd, and they actually, well, that I matter to them, instead of that I'm just another number. And that's like with having people going up on the stage. It's a show, and it's not, you know, you can have a good show, but when you focus on it being about the show, then it becomes shallower than it should be. Because if it I mean, that's like, you imagine if you ask a pastor, of course, like they have the arrangement where everybody would be there, and then everyone would baptize this person, baptize that person, everything together. Well, if you asked the pastor, will you baptize me in the river? Would they be willing to do that if the crowd wasn't there?
Right.
Because then that tells you if it's about the show or if it's about being baptized. Because when nobody's there, because you can get baptized multiple times, but the point is, if the baptism is important, then you don't need a show. You need the baptism, you don't need the show. But if they make it about the show over the baptism, then it's like, you know, like going to the point of you weren't actually baptized, but they were willing to say you were, like, just so you're in the group.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm looking for that wholeheartedness. But yeah, like you were asking me if I think something to the effect of if I think they're good shepherds, that sort of thing. Well, I like what you were saying with that. It's they're good people. They're good people, but being a good shepherd is a different class. And to be a good shepherd, you have to, because that's like, I can see like I'll see where someone cares, but it's a question of, are you caring about me, as me, or are you caring about me as a resource? That's the question. Because what do you like? Someone may show tell you sweet words, stuff like that, and they may mean all that, but why? Why the what's the what is it that you care about? Why is it that there you know that the different levels with that but yeah, anything you want to say?
No, everything. Enjoyed, yeah.
All right, but yeah, and I mean you got to like talk about you got to talk some, so that's good. But yeah, what were you saying?
Oh, nothing.
All right, but yeah, yeah, because with that, it's like when I look at in the like the thing about leadership, because I understand the importance of a church, of being a member at a church, because it's counterculture, because being not like defying the being a member, that's actually going with the culture, but becoming a member, it's the more radical approach, I guess you could say, but it matters though. Like it matters who your leadership is. And when you don't trust your leadership, yeah, that's what it is. I can see that the leadership at Fountain of Life cares, but I don't trust them yet, because you earn trust. And when it comes to things like well, the when I'm seeing all this about the show, then it's what was that? And it's I mean, that's like when you heal somebody, which I get the importance of if you heal somebody in front of a group, then you have the spiritual essence of everybody there. But you could also heal them by themselves. So you know the whole thing about a show and that's like I've said before how maybe not to you, but I've said before that if a church gets it 90% right, not 90% right, then it's a good church, because you have a lot of churches that maybe they'll get 30% right, and that's a horrible church.
Yeah,
But if you have a church that gets it 90% right, and misses maybe the other 10%, something like that, then you have a good church, and any faults that they have that they've got to work out well, or that you've got to, that sort of thing. It's not too big of a problem to be a member at that church, but you have to trust your leadership.